Jake Morrison stood in front of the big screen on his ship's bridge. The message from space was clear and scary. The Galactic Council wanted all human ships to give up. They wanted humans to stop flying in space and follow their rules. Said no, the Council would destroy every human world. The ship was called U.S. Defiance. It was one of the best ships humans had ever built. But compared to the alien ships, it looked small and weak. Jake had been a ship captain for 15 years. He had fought space pirates and helped build new colonies, but he had never faced anything like this. Lisa Grant walked up to him. She was his second in command and one of the smartest people he knew. Her face looked worried as she read the message again. Look at these numbers. They have more than 1,000 ships for every one of ours. Their weapons can blow up entire moons. How can we fight that? Jake looked at the star map showing where the alien fleets were gathering. Huge ships filled with strange creatures were moving toward human space. Some ships were as big as cities. Others looked like they were made of pure energy. The Council had 12 different alien races working together. They'd been ruling the galaxy for thousands of years. Maybe they're stronger, Jake said slowly. But they don't know humans very well. On Earth, people were scared. The news showed the alien message over and over. Some people wanted to hide. Others wanted to fight. The leaders of all human worlds came together to decide what to do. Admiral Frank Carter sat at a big table with other important people. He was an old soldier who had helped humans reach the stars. Next to him sat President Helen Brooks. She was the leader of Earth and had to make the hardest choice in human history. Could try to talk to them, said one man. Maybe we can make a deal. What kind of deal? Asked another woman. They want us to give up our freedom. They want to control us like pets. The room got quiet. Everyone knew the aliens were much stronger. Human ships were fast, but small. Human weapons were good, but not great. Humans had only been traveling in space for 50 years. The aliens had been doing it for much longer. Dr. Amy Jo stood up. She was the scientist who had helped humans build faster ships. Her inventions had let humans explore far into space. She was small, but her voice was strong. I have read everything about these aliens, she said. They think they are better than everyone else. They believe young races like us should bow down to them, but they are wrong about one thing. What's that? Asked the president. They think being old makes them right. They think having big ships makes them smart. But humans are different. We don't give up. We find ways to win, even when we should lose. Amy walked to the front of the room. Behind her was a picture of Earth from space. The blue and green planet looked beautiful and peaceful. But Amy's eyes were full of fire. We didn't crawl out of caves and cross oceans to kneel before aliens. Our ancestors fought with sticks and stones against bigger enemies. They built boats to cross dangerous seas. They reached for the stars because that's what humans do. Explore. We fight. We survive. Admiral Carter nodded. The aliens want us to be afraid. They think one big threat will make us give up. But they don't understand human nature. The president looked around the room. His people represented all of humanity. Earth, Mars, the moon colonies, and the far space stations. Billions of humans were counting on this decision. What will happen to our children if we say yes? Asked, what kind of life will they have under alien rule? Frank Carter stood up. He was old but still strong. His uniform had medals from many battles. Ma'am, I've been fighting for human freedom my whole life. I've seen what humans can do when they're pushed too far. These aliens picked the wrong species to threaten. Dr. Joe pulled up pictures of human colonies. Families living on new worlds. Children playing under alien suns. Farmers growing food on planets the aliens said were worthless. Engineers building cities where the aliens said nothing could live. Every human world is proof that we belong in space, she said. We didn't ask permission to reach the stars. We just did it. Why should we ask permission now? The vote was quick. Every person in the room raised their hand. Earth would not surrender. The colonies would not give up their ships. Humanity would face the Galactic Council and show them what humans were made of. Admiral Carter sent the message back to the aliens. It was short and simple. Humanity rejects your demands. We will defend our freedom. On the UES Defiance, Jake Morrison smiled when he got the news. Lisa Grant looked worried but determined. The crew gathered on the bridge to hear their captain speak. "You all know what's coming," Jake said. "The biggest fleet in galaxy history is heading our way. They think we'll run or hide. They think we'll give up our ships and become their servants." The crew was quiet. These were good people who had left Earth to explore space. They had families back home and dreams of seeing new worlds. Now, they might die fighting aliens they had never met. "But here's what the aliens don't know about humans," Jake continued. "We're too stubborn to quit. We're too proud to kneel. And we're too crazy to know when we should be afraid." Some of the crew smiled. Others looked scared but ready to fight. Jake could see the same spirit that had driven humans to build ships and reach for the stars. The Galactic Council has ruled for thousands of years. We've never met a species that said no to them. Well, they're about to meet humans. And we're going to show them that some things are worth fighting for, no matter what the odds. The ship's engines hummed louder as they prepared for battle. Other human ships were getting the same orders. Small fleets scattered across space were turning to face the alien threat. They were outnumbered and outgunned. Logic said they should surrender, but humans had never been very logical. They'd always chosen hope over fear, courage over safety. The aliens were about to learn that lesson the hard way. High Magistrate Velthek stood on the bridge of his warship. It was tall and covered in green scales that shined like metal. His yellow eyes looked at the star map showing the human colony called New Denver. This would be easy, he thought.
What?
Quick attack and the humans would give up. Velthok had fought many wars for the Galactic Council. He had seen hundreds of species bow down when they saw his fleet. The humans would be no different. They were young and weak. Their ships were small toys compared to his mighty vessels. "Prepare the death ray," he told his crew. The weapon could turn a whole city into dust in seconds. "We will destroy one human city. Then they will understand our power." His fleet had 50 huge ships. Each one was bigger than a human town. They had weapons that could crack planets and shields that could stop any attack. Behind them came transport ships full of soldiers ready. To take control of the human colony, Colonel Ben Hayes watched the alien ships appear near New Denver. He commanded the small defense force protecting the colony. His fleet had only 3 ships. They were fast but tiny compared to what was coming. Most people would have run away. But Ben was not most people. "All ships. This is Hayes," he said into his radio. "I know what you're thinking. We're outnumbered 50 to 1. Their ships are bigger and stronger. Any smart person would surrender right now." Ben looked out at the alien fleet. The ships were beautiful in a scary way. They moved like giant sea animals through space. Energy crackled around their hulls. These aliens had been building warships for thousands of years. "We're not fighting smart today," Ben continued. "We're fighting human. And that means we don't quit, no matter what." The alien ships started moving toward the colony. They moved slowly, because they were so sure of winning. Velthak wanted the humans to see their doom coming. Fear was a weapon, too, but the humans were not afraid. On the colony below, people were getting ready to fight. Kate Sullivan was an engineer who worked in the mines. She had taken the big machines used for digging and turned them into weapons. Giant drills became missiles. Mining lasers became cannons. "If they want our home," Kate said to her workers, "they'll have to take it from our cold, dead hands." The miners nodded. These were tough people who had come to build a new life among the stars. They had fought harsh weather, dangerous animals, and equipment failures. They were not about to let aliens scare them away. Ben's 3 ships moved to meet the alien fleet. His strategy was simple: hit hard, move fast, and make the aliens angry enough to make mistakes. The human ships were like small fish attacking a whale. "Target their lead ship," Ben ordered. "All weapons, fire everything we have." The human ships opened fire. Their weapons were not very powerful, but they aimed for weak spots. Ben had studied alien ship designs for months. He knew where their sensors were located and where their armor was thinnest. The alien ships barely felt the attack, but Velthak was surprised. These humans were actually fighting back. Most species surrendered as soon as they saw his fleet. He had expected the humans to send messages begging for mercy. "Destroy those annoying insects," Velthok ordered. "Show them what happens when they challenge the council." The alien ships fired back. Beams of energy that could melt mountains shot through space. One human ship exploded immediately. Another was badly damaged and had to retreat. Only Ben's ship was left to face 50 alien warships. But Ben was not done fighting. He flew his ship straight at the biggest alien vessel. It was a crazy move that no smart captain would try. The aliens expected him to run away or hide behind an asteroid. "Sir, what are you doing?" asked his second-in-command. "Something they won't expect," Ben replied. "Humans don't follow the rules of space combat. We make our own rules." Ben's ship flew between two huge alien vessels. Their weapons could not fire without hitting each other. He used their size against them. The human ship was small enough to hide in places the big ships could not reach. Down on the colony, the aliens started landing their troops. They came in metal suits that made them look like walking tanks. Their weapons could punch holes through buildings. They expected the humans to run and hide. Instead, they found Kate Sullivan and her miners waiting for them. The humans had turned the whole colony into a trap. Mining tunnels became hidden paths. Construction equipment became weapons. Even the children knew how to operate the defense systems. "Welcome to New Denver," Kate said as she fired a mining laser at the alien troops. "Hope you like it hot." The aliens were confused. It studied human military tactics, but this was not how armies were supposed to fight. These humans used tools and machines in ways that made no sense. Bulldozers rammed into alien vehicles. Crane arms grabbed alien soldiers and threw them around. In space, Ben was still flying circles around the alien fleet. His ship was damaged and running low on fuel, but he would not give up. Every few minutes, he would pop out from behind a big alien ship and fire at another one. He was like a mosquito that would not go away. Velthok was getting angry. This battle should have been over in 10 minutes. Instead, one human was making his entire fleet look foolish. Other alien commanders were watching this fight. If he could not defeat one small ship, what would they think of his power? "Surround that human ship," he ordered. "Use everything we have. I want it destroyed now." 20 alien ships moved to trap Ben. Energy beams filled the space around his ship. It looked impossible for him to escape. But Ben had one more trick to play. He flew straight at Velthek's command ship. The aliens thought he was going to ram into them and die like a hero. But at the last second, Ben fired all his remaining weapons. At the alien ship's main weapon, a huge death ray exploded, damaging Velthek's own ship. The explosion was so big, it damaged other alien ships nearby. Velthek's beautiful warship was now smoking and broken. The hull had big holes in it. Emergency lights flashed all over the bridge. For the first time in his long life, Velthek felt something he had never felt before. Fear. This small human ship had hurt him. His mighty fleet had been embarrassed by people they thought were weak. On the colony, Kate and her miners had driven off the alien ground troops. The aliens were not used to fighting people who turned every tool into a weapon. They retreated to their ships, confused and scared. "All ships, retreat," Velthok ordered. His voice shook with anger and shame. "We will return with a bigger fleet." As the alien ships left, Ben's damaged vessel limped back to the colony. The humans had won their first battle against the Galactic Council. It should have been impossible, but they had done it. News of the victory spread through human space faster than light. Every human colony, every space station, every ship heard the story. 3 small ships and a mining colony had faced 50 alien warships and won. People celebrated in the streets. Children played games pretending to be Ben Hayes and Kate Sullivan. Songs were written about the Battle of New Denver. But most importantly, humans everywhere stood a little taller. They had faced the galaxy's strongest force and proven something important. Humans would not kneel. Humans would not surrender. Sometimes, being brave was more powerful than having the biggest weapons. The war was just beginning, but humanity had fired the first shot heard around the galaxy. The council meeting room was filled with angry voices. 12 different alien races sat around a huge table made of crystal. They had ruled the galaxy for so long that losing to humans felt impossible. But the reports from New Denver were clear. Their mighty fleet had been beaten by 3 small ships and some miners. Empress Ashkor floated above her chair.
Ow.
She was made of pure energy, and her voice sounded like thunder. This is unacceptable. One human colony has made us look weak. Must crush them immediately. The crystal being called Nexus Prime clicked and sparked. Perhaps we should try talking to them. These humans fight differently than other species. Talk. Multhok slammed his clawed hand on the table. His green scales were still dim from the shame of losing at New Denver. They destroyed my ship. They made my soldiers run away. Talking will not fix this. But the humans were not waiting for the aliens to decide what to do next. Admiral Frank Carter had a plan. Instead of waiting for the next attack, humans would strike first. He called it Operation Prometheus, named after an old story about stealing fire from the gods. Jake Morrison got his orders while his ship was being repaired. The mission seemed crazy even for humans. Take a small fleet deep into alien space and attack 12 different targets at the same time. Not to destroy them, but to send a message. I think they're safe in their own territory, Admiral Carter explained over the video call. They think humans can only defend, not attack. We're going to prove them wrong. Lieutenant Ryan Clark was a young man who used to work in the asteroid mines. He was good at finding weak spots in rocks, and it turned out alien defenses had weak spots too. He'd spent weeks studying captured alien technology and star maps. Look at this, Ryan said, pointing to a holographic display. The aliens have been safe for so long that they stopped being careful. Their communication stations have almost no guards. Their supply depots are wide open. They never thought anyone would be brave enough to attack them. Jake looked at the targets Ryan had picked. Communication towers that connected alien fleets across the galaxy. Supply stations that fed their warships. Administrative centers where alien bureaucrats made their plans. None of them were heavily defended because no one had ever attacked them before. It's brilliant, Jake said. We're not trying to destroy their whole empire. We're just showing them that nowhere is safe from humans. The human strike force was small. 20 ships that could fly fast and far. Each ship carried special equipment that Dr. Amy Jo had designed. Quantum jammers that could disrupt alien communications. Stealth systems that made human ships invisible to alien sensors. And most importantly, adaptive computers that could learn alien tactics and find ways to beat them. Dr. Emma Price worked on the research ship Pioneer. She was studying pieces of alien technology that had been captured at New Denver. What she found changed everything. The aliens were strong because all their ships and stations were connected by a quantum network. They could talk to each other instantly across vast distances and coordinate their attacks perfectly. If we can break their network, Emma told Admiral Carter, their fleets become just individual ships. Still dangerous, but not working together. While the military prepared for battle, something amazing was happening on human colonies. Paul Martinez was an engineer on a farming world called Haven. When he heard about the war, he did something that surprised everyone. He turned his entire planet into a weapon factory. Every human world needs to help, Paul announced to his neighbors. We can't just leave the fighting to the military. This is everyone's war. Farmers stopped growing food and started making ammunition. Miners dug up metals for ship armor. Children who were old enough learned how to build combat drones. Even the elderly helped by operating communication systems and managing supplies. The aliens had never seen anything like it. In their empire, soldiers fought wars and civilians stayed out of the way. But humans were different. Every person became part of the war effort. Every colony became a fortress. Every human became a potential threat. Jake's strike force moved deep into alien space. They traveled through empty regions where no aliens lived. Ryan's navigation was perfect. Found routes that avoided alien patrols and sensor networks. The humans moved like ghosts through enemy territory. The attacks began at exactly the same time across 12 different star systems. Jake's ship hit a communication station orbiting a gas giant. The alien guards were so surprised they barely fought back. In minutes, the station was destroyed, and the human ship was gone. Other teams struck supply depots, data centers, and command posts. The aliens had expected humans to defend their colonies, not attack alien territory. Security was light because no one thought humans were brave enough or smart enough to reach this far into Council space. But the real breakthrough came when Dr. Price's plan was put into action. A small team led by Lieutenant Clark penetrated the most heavily defended target, a quantum processing center that helped coordinate alien fleets. Clark's team uploaded a virus that Emma Price had designed specifically for alien computers. The virus did not destroy the alien network immediately. Instead, it spread slowly, like a disease moving through the alien communication system. Every time the aliens tried to coordinate their ships, the virus learned more about how their network worked and found new ways to disrupt it. On Velthek's new command ship, chaos erupted. His orders to other fleets were being scrambled. Reports from his captains made no sense. Ships that should have been working together were flying in different directions. What is happening? Velthek roared at his communication officer. Sir, our quantum network is malfunctioning. We're receiving corrupted data from all sectors. Velthek's yellow eyes narrowed. This is not a malfunction. The humans did this. Back on Earth, Admiral Carter watched the reports come in. Every human strike team had completed their missions and escaped. The alien communication network was breaking down. For the first time in galactic history, the Council's perfect coordination was falling apart, but the humans were not done. Paul Martinez's factory worlds were producing weapons faster than anyone thought possible. New human ships rolled off production lines every day. These were not beautiful vessels like the aliens built. They were ugly, practical machines designed for one purpose: fighting. The ships had names like Angry Hornet and Stubborn Mule. They were built from whatever materials humans could find. Some had armor made from asteroid metal. Others used engines taken from mining equipment. They looked like junk, but they worked. More importantly, every ship was crewed by volunteers. Humans who had never been soldiers but wanted to defend their freedom. Farmers who learned to pilot fighters. Engineers who became gunners. Teachers who studied alien tactics and became strategists. The aliens watched this transformation with growing fear. They had faced many species before, but none like this. When other races went to war, their military fought while their civilians hid. But humans turned their entire civilization into a weapon. Empress Ashkor called an emergency meeting. These humans are not following the normal patterns of warfare. They attack where we are weak instead of where we are strong. They turn their civilians into soldiers. They fight like every battle is their last. Nexus Prime's crystal body flickered with worry. Our network is still under attack from their virus. Our fleets cannot coordinate properly. They keep building more ships. Veltek stood up slowly. His proud posture was gone. We underestimated them. Thought they were just another young species that would bow to our power. But they are something else. They are warriors born. The Council had ruled the galaxy by being stronger than everyone else. But strength alone was not enough against humans. The humans fought with something the aliens had forgotten existed: the willingness to sacrifice. It's everything for freedom. As reports of more human victories came in, one thing became clear. The war was no longer about the Council destroying humanity. It was about whether the Council could survive humanity's determination to be free. The galaxy was about to learn that some species were too stubborn to be conquered. High Admiral Korvath stood on the bridge of the greatest warship ever built. The vessel was called Galaxy's Fist, and it was bigger than some moons. Around it floated the combined fleets of all 12 Council races. Over 10,000 ships filled. The space around the Nexus Gate is the ancient hub that connected all major trade routes in the galaxy. Korvath was the Council's best military leader. He had won 100 wars and conquered 50 star systems. His blue skin was covered in scars from countless battles. If anyone could stop the humans, it was him. Today we end this rebellion, Korvath announced to his fleet commanders. The humans have embarrassed us long enough. They think their small tricks and dirty fighting can defeat us. They are wrong. The Nexus Gate was the perfect place for the final battle. Whoever controlled it controlled travel across the galaxy. The humans would have to come here if they wanted to win the war, and when they did, Corveth would be waiting. Admiral Frank Carter knew this was humanity's last chance. Every human ship that could fly was gathering for the battle. Big battleships and small fighters, military vessels, and converted mining ships. Even passenger ships with weapons bolted to their hulls. If they lost here, there would be no human fleet left to defend Earth. Jake Morrison commanded the advance force aboard the UES Defiance. His ship had been repaired after many battles, but it still showed scars from fighting aliens. Next to him, Lisa Grant coordinated with other human commanders. She had become one of the best tactical officers in the human fleet. "All ships, this is Admiral Carter," came the voice over the radio. "You all know what we're fighting for. Our homes, our families, our right to be free. The aliens have bigger ships and better weapons, but we have something they don't understand. We have the human spirit." Colonel Ben Hayes led a squadron of fighters. His ship was small but fast, and he had painted the words "New Denver Revenge" on the side. Behind him flew hundreds of other pilots, many of them civilians, who had learned to fly just for this battle. Dr. Amy Jo had worked without sleep for weeks to give the humans one last advantage. Her new adaptive computers could learn alien tactics in real time and find ways to counter them. Every human ship now had this technology, turning the entire fleet into a learning weapon. The battle began when the human fleet jumped out of hyperspace near the Nexus Gate. Corvat's massive force was waiting for them. The alien ships formed perfect battle lines, their weapons charged and ready. They looked like a metal wall stretching across space. "Humans detected," reported Corvath's sensor officer. "Approximately 3,000 ships?" Corvath smiled. 3,000 against 10,000. The humans were brave, but stupid. "All ships prepare to fire. We will destroy them in one massive attack." But Jake Morrison had other plans. Instead of forming battle lines like the aliens expected, the human ships scattered in all directions. Some flew up, others down. Many dove straight into the alien formation. The careful alien battle plan fell apart as human ships appeared everywhere. Once, "What are they doing?" demanded Corvath. "This is not how space battles are fought." His officers looked confused. The aliens had studied warfare for thousands of years. They knew the proper way to fight in space. Ships formed lines, fired their weapons, and the stronger force won. But humans ignored all the rules. Ben Hayes led his fighters straight at Galaxy's Fist. The huge ship's weapons could destroy his entire squadron with one shot. But the aliens hesitated because they did not expect such a crazy attack. In that moment of confusion, Ben's fighters slipped past the big guns and started attacking the ship's weak spots. Down in the engine room of a converted mining ship, Paul Martinez worked frantically to keep his jury-rigged weapons firing. The ship was called the Stubborn Mule, and it looked like a flying junkyard. But its mismatched weapons were tearing holes in alien cruisers. "Keep firing," Paul shouted to his crew of former miners. "Show these fancy aliens what real workers can do." The battle raged for hours. Ships exploded like fireworks across the dark of space. Human vessels fell, but they took alien ships with them. Captain Rachel Stone sacrificed her ship to save a hospital vessel full of wounded. Engineer Kate Sullivan, now commanding her own battle cruiser, rammed an alien dreadnought when her weapons failed. But the tide really turned when Dr. Emma Price's plan came to life. Lieutenant Ryan Clark had managed to get close to the Nexus Gate itself with a small team of specialists. They uploaded the final version of the virus that would completely destroy the alien communication network. Suddenly, Corvath's perfect fleet became a confused mob. Ships that had been working together for thousands of years could not talk to each other. Orders became scrambled. The aliens' greatest strength, their ability to coordinate across vast distances, was gone. "Sir, we've lost contact with most of our fleet," reported Corvath's communication officer. "The quantum network is completely down." Corvath's face turned dark blue with rage. "Impossible. Our network has never failed. It's not failing, sir. It's being attacked by the human virus. Every time we try to restore communication, the virus adapts and breaks it again. Jake Morrison saw the change immediately. The alien ships were flying in circles, unsure what to do without orders from their commanders. This was the moment he had been waiting for. All ships, this is Morrison. The aliens can't talk to each other anymore. Hit them hard while they're confused. The human fleet surged forward. Ships that had been barely holding their own suddenly found themselves winning. Alien vessels cut off from support fell one by one to human attacks. Dr. Amy Jo's adaptive computers were learning faster than ever. Every alien tactic was analyzed and countered within minutes. The humans were turning the aliens' own weapons against them. Corveth watched his mighty fleet crumble. Ships that had never lost a battle were burning and retreating. His own flagship was taking heavy damage from those annoying human fighters. For the first time in his long military career, he was losing. All ships retreat, he finally ordered. Fall back to defensive positions. But many of his ships could not hear the order. The virus had spread through the entire alien network. Some ships kept fighting alone. Others fled in panic. The perfect Council war machine had become a broken collection of individual vessels. Jake Morrison pressed the attack. His ship was badly damaged but still fighting. Round him, the human fleet pushed forward with desperate courage. They knew this was their only chance to win the war. The final moment came when Galaxy's Fist, the Council's greatest ship, began to retreat. Corvat's flagship was burning and broken. The sight of it fleeing sent shockwaves through both fleets. The Council's invincible military had been defeated by a species they thought primitive. As the alien ships limped away from the Nexus Gate, a strange quiet fell over the battlefield. Wreckage from both fleets drifted through space. Emergency. Signals flashed as rescue ships searched for survivors. The greatest space battle in galactic history was over. Lisa Grant looked at the sensor readings with amazement. Jake, we won. We actually won. Jake Morrison sat back in his captain's chair. He was exhausted, and his ship was barely holding together. But he was smiling. Around him, his crew cheered and hugged each other. They had done the impossible. Hours later, as rescue operations continued, a new message came from the Galactic Council. But this time, it was not an ultimatum. It was a request for peace talks, President Helen Brooks read. The message from her office on Earth. The aliens who had demanded humanity's surrender were now asking for negotiations. The species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia were admitting they could not defeat humans. Draft our response, she told her advisors. Tell them we never wanted to rule the galaxy. We just refused to kneel to those who claimed they already did. The news spread across human space faster than light. On every world, in every station, people celebrated. Children who had hidden in shelters came out to see the stars again. Families separated by war began planning reunions. But perhaps most importantly, other species throughout the galaxy began to stir. Races that had been forced to obey the Council for thousands of years started asking questions. If humans could win their freedom, why couldn't they? The age of the Galactic Council was ending. In its place, something new was beginning. A galaxy where species chose their own destiny instead of having it chosen for them. Humans had defied the Council without fear, and in doing so, had shown everyone that freedom was worth any price. The stars belonged to everyone now. Humanity had made sure it would stay that way.